1140 WRVA and Richmond's Morning News. As you watch what unfolds in Japan, it gets your attention because you realize that when you have something like a 8.9 earthquake and the food sources dry up, the water sources dry up, if you are not prepared for yourself, there's only so far any government entity can go to help you. Here to talk about that with us is Donald Green. He's a Certified Emergency Management Assistant, Security and Emergency Management Director for Newport News Schools, and he operates, I love the name of this site, Ifithitsthefan.com. Hey, Donald.
Good morning, Jimmy. How are you today?
Doing very well, thank you. Obviously, having some sort of source for food and water is pretty important for all of us, right?
That's for sure. That's definite.
Is that the most important thing to be prepared with?
I think if a person has several days to 2 weeks supply of food and fresh potable water and as well as shelter, then they can withstand 99% of what's going to get thrown at us, and that frees up the authorities to deal with the folks who aren't prepared and the folks who need additional help.
You know, the thing that always strikes me as kind of funny about all this is that when you talk about this stuff during non-emergency times, then you sound like an alarmist or somebody who's, going home to his bunker every night and, eating MREs and doing all that kind of crazy stuff, waiting for the end of waiting for the apocalypse and Armageddon and all that other good stuff. But when you have a natural emergency that happens and you see what happens to a country that is about as well prepared as a country can be for something like that, just like what happened after Katrina, you realize that you really have to do it for yourself.
Jimmy, you really do. There are 300 million people in the U.S., and the government can't help us all. As each person is going to have different parts of the country, different disasters are going to affect us, as well as personal disasters from as simple as, losing your job to having your house burned down in a house fire. All of those, the preparedness for all of those things are very similar.
How prepared do you think your average Virginian is for some sort of a natural disaster?
I think on the coastal side, from Richmond and points east, the experiences we've had with Gaston and Isabel, people are more aware of it, more prepared for things like that. Ice storms have knocked out power for several days to a week at a time. I think most Virginians are getting a clue, so to speak, and the rampaging at the grocery stores for the last bread and milk because of an inch of snow, I don't think we see those as much as we used to.
Yeah, I think you're right. If I go to your website, Ifithitsthefan.com, what am I going to find there?
A lot of my thoughts and opinions on different disasters, different ways to prepare, things that I'm doing and myself to prepare my family. You're also going to see product reviews.
Okay. So, in other words, you hear commercials, especially after something like this. We're going to hear a lot of commercials, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
For a lot of companies are going to sell us a lot of stuff that maybe we really don't need.
The ominous-sounding voice selling the survival seed packs, some folks might need that. I don't think most people do, but anything a person can do to make themselves a little less dependent on others is going to help them with anything.
Okay. Donald, I'll put a link on our webpage for that, and we'll send some folks there to see what you have to say. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jimmy. Have a great day.
You too. That's Certified Emergency Management Assistant Donald Green. 8:20.